Alright folks, it's time to get back into this week's episode of The Walking Dead. This is season 11, episode 7, and this episode is titled Broken Promises. And this was a very interesting episode. Kind of chilling to some extent because of, remnants of the past and just other, different things that we're not used to seeing. So can't wait to break it down. As you know, this is a spoiler-free review, so therefore I'm getting you just hype, getting you just a tad bit of information of things you can expect for this week's episode. That way you can enjoy it the same way I do. So let's jump into it. This week's episode, the synopsis reads: Maggie and Elijah learn a new survival tactic from Negan. Eugene's group cleans walkers to pay their fines, while Yumiko interviews for an upper-class job. Daryl learns more about Leah and the Reapers. Gabriel encounters a man of God. Now, it was very important that I read the synopsis here because I need to break that down because, man, there was things I wanted to talk about. I was thinking, wait, can I talk about that? Then I saw it in the synopsis, and I was like, oh, I guess I can. And the first one is Gabriel. Gabriel is lurking in the woods, and he sees a particular person praying, and it just completely changes his mind about everything. And as we know, Gabriel, a man of God himself, and we see him, use his faith numerous times in this episode in his entire existence on The Walking Dead. Not once have we seen somebody, he encounters somebody like this, and this changes his whole trajectory of everything he was going to do, which was kind of like this may be problematic going forward. We got to see how this kind of plays out, Yumiko interviews for an upper class job. Yumiko out here about to go to white collar America or blue collar America, and she done upgraded. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's interesting because if you've read the comments and you know about the Commonwealth, she's following suit here. She is absolutely taking a job you would expect her to take. She's, while she's interviewing, she's in a nice suit. She's business ready. Meanwhile, everybody else, Eugene, Princess, and them, they're cleaning up walkers in a building. This is like the upgraded zombie apocalypse version of the roadside cleanup crew, except they're cleaning buildings. And obviously the Commonwealth has a plan to use these buildings at some point, but it's just because of what they did, because of their this is the way of paying their debt back, so if you've ever seen those folks that do the cleaning on the side of the road or the highways and whatnot, whether they're incarcerated or they're doing community service, this is the zombie apocalypse version of that. Going back to Maggie, Elijah, and Negan. Maggie and Negan, they're still working on this thing called trust. And I will say that they truly exchanged some very bitterly honest words with each other. And they're trying to figure this thing out. And maybe they will, but it's going to be a cold day in hell if we see it happening. Because that's what we've been seeing up until 7 episodes now, is the two of them have been just filling each other out. They're trying to figure out where their mental's at. They're trying to figure out, can they coexist? They need each other. They're trying to use each other. But ultimately, can they actually be on the same page? Can it be cordial? And that's what we see in this episode, in the sense of a lot of the dialogue between the two of them, super brutally honest. Negan said something that I was like, oh, this is not going to go over well. But Maggie's response is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. So, we will see. We will see. And then Elijah's still looking for his sister. So, that's his motive. Everybody's looking for their family and other members of their old group. And that's his determination. So, when much like anybody else who's looking for anybody in the family, their one-track mind, that's their goal. And Elijah's been one of the characters that I want to see get into more action, and I think this chip on his shoulder has really been a lot of the motivation as to why he's such a brutal killer when he needs to be. So Eugene, I tell you, Eugene has not been having a good season 11. To some extent. I mean, sure, he got his girl, but like he's just been making careless mistakes left and right. And this one's not actually his fault. This one, he actually just runs into somebody of high privilege at the Commonwealth, and that doesn't go over too well with everybody. So you kind of see how that plays out. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Daryl and Leah and the Reapers. And I gotta say, I think us as the viewers, as well as Daryl, we're gonna be all very kind of mind blown about the revelations we see with Leah and the Reapers. And I think it's important. I don't want to say too much here, but I think it's important to kind of really keep an eye out on the two of them and Pope and what his assessment of everything that's going on, because this is certainly a predicament that I just cannot put my finger on, but I can tell you that there's definitely some interesting things kind of bubbling up here. And then lastly, what an emotional ending here. It's very similar to an ending we had last season in season 10. This ending is very similar to another ending we had. And I gotta say that things about to get crazy. Things about to get crazy, especially when you're considering like Maggie and Negan and Elijah and this new tactic. I mean, this new tactic here, you know, something that Negan had learned not too long ago, and it's like a nightmare returning all over again for us. And when you see some of the shots of some of the things that are happening, you're just kind of like, oh well, here we go again. And it's cool, but it's creepy, but it's also like, all right, this really feels like it's brewing up to something major get ready to happen. And then when you see that final shot, you definitely will be convinced that yes, something is coming. It's coming big, and who knows how this is going to play out. So, folks, yes, this is my review of episode 7 of The Walking Dead, season 11. Promises Broken. Stay tuned, folks. More reviews of The Walking Dead World Beyond, and Fear the Walking Dead, all coming to you. October's going to get busy, folks. But yeah, stay tuned because more reviews are coming very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.